Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime. Currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, New Powerpuff Girls, and Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hello.
And Justin Cummings.
Hola.
Today, Sam, Justin, and I will be discussing the September 1st episode, Happy September, of Steven Universe, Future Boy Zoltron. Right? Yeah, that's the title. That's the ridiculous title. We discuss Steven Universe every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Coming up this week on the Overly Animated Podcast, tomorrow, Delaney and Michelle will be giving you our feedback this week. Justin and Delaney swapped places. Delaney was unavailable for this one. So Delaney hosting feedback. You can get your feedback in one of the following ways. You can email Delaney at overlyanimated.com. You can send her an ask on Tumblr. You can post in the comments of this post on overlyanimated.com. Get your feedback in for Delaney and Michelle on. There's a lot to talk about here. This is a very big episode, so I know you guys need to send in your questions. But actually, I'm very excited to talk about some aspects of this episode. So let's get right into it. Future Boy Zoltron. Let's do impressions, and I have a top story for this episode. But well, no, okay, let's do the top story first. It works right. Top story, Lars and Sadie, definitely 100% dating. It's canon. Ding, 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 ding. It's happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, Lars wants to skip work and do something.
And
do.
And hang out. Yeah, it's happening. It's canon. That was my favorite scene. Well, no, it wasn't. It was actually my second favorite scene. But come on, that's so good. That was such a great follow-up to the new Lars. It was so good. Are you excited, Sam, that they're dating?
I don't really care.
No. This is big news.
No, I don't really care.
Justin, are you excited?
This scene, one other gag, and then potentially the voice actor we had are all that keep this episode from being the worst episode in my book. So yes, I like this scene.
I heavily disagree. We'll get into that. What's the ship name called?
Lady?
Yeah, that's bad.
No, wait. Yeah, Lady. Let's go Lady.
I don't think that's
or
true.
SARS.
SARS, I don't know. Anyway,
no, SARS is a disease.
Lars Sadie is canon. It's happening. I'm very excited. Justin, since you jumped the gun and gave your impression already on the episode, why is it so bad?
It was a letdown. Honestly, I've never been more disappointed.
Wait, you had high expectations for Future Boy Zoltron? You knew that.
Exactly. I had low expectations and I was still disappointed, honestly. It's just not the episode I think any of us wanted or needed, even in the world of character episodes like Beach City, Bordy episodes. This was just subpar. I'm not anti Mr. Smiley.
I think you are.
This episode, I'm not anti Mr. Smiley. I like him in small doses, but to me, this episode, there's nothing sympathetic about him as a character. They've never given us a reason to actually care about him. So I didn't care about him like being reunited with a long lost friend. I think they're totally gay for the record, and I ship it.
100%. Yeah.
However, I had no reason to care. I couldn't care less if they end up friends again or reunited or whatever happens. I don't care.
That's a good point. That's a valid point. What a role reversal, Justin. We're going to take on these. You're the Dylan of this episode.
I'm back in college and it's ruining me.
Yeah, why are you so cynical? Jeez, come on. Sam, what are your thoughts on Future Boy Zoltron?
It was alright. I mean, I don't know. I remember over the summer there was a podcast. I don't remember which one. I think it was Keys Pizza Delivery Service or whatever. Yeah. Where Dylan and I were.
I guess it's not the summer anymore. I guess not.
Oh. Okay, it's not
it's September. It's September 1st. Yeah,
September 21st is the first day of fall.
Meteorological fall. Now, there you go. Sam has announced it on the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, there was a point over the summer where Dylan and I were talking about how the Beach City centric episodes, and I don't remember if I said this on that one or another one. How basically nothing in the show happens without Steven. Yeah. Everything is always told through Steven's lens, and I feel like that's sort of to the detriment of this episode. I don't know, Mr. Smiley, he's an interesting guy, and Mr. Frowney is also an interesting guy, and it would have been cool to see them without the lens of Steven, but we wouldn't have without Steven there. I don't know. It was an okay episode. Dylan was like, before I watched it, he was like, Sam, I think you're really going to like this episode.
I felt like you connect to, like, I don't know what it.
What do you mean?
I can't put my finger on it, but like tonally, I guess I don't know.
You think I'm Mr. Frowny?
I really relate to Mr. Frowny, so that's why
I got really excited that Mr. Frowny was going to be Greg's father, and then it wasn't.
Yeah,
and
I thought they were
all my
gonna pull
hopes
something
were
like
dashed.
What?
Yeah, I thought they're gonna pull something with,
because
like,
I had
it's really
seen something
important.
where people were like, spoilers.
Yeah.
And looking at this episode, I'm like, none of this counts.
I thought he was just talking about like his like, I don't, as loathed I am to say this word, like his like lover or something.
I thought son.
He was. I mean, he probably was. You know.
Yeah,
What would I say to him?
Gotta read
Like,
the
your prodigal son
They're
ran
dating.
away.
You got to read the subtext, Sam. I mean, geez. Like,
It's-
Okay,
Sam.
Dylan. All right. My point is, this episode was okay. I mean, it wasn't like the best episode ever, but I don't think it was the worst. It was just,
yeah.
it was there, and
Okay.
it's very interesting to have an episode like this, and like the Steven is struggling and helping people arc, where there's just an episode of him trying to help people.
That's true. This is interesting in the context of Steven's arc. I agree. So we're running the gamut on opinions here. I'll bring some sanity to this episode of this podcast. Future Boy
Trade
Zoltron
is worse than this, and I cannot think of another episode worse.
Future Boy Zoltron was excellent. I love this episode. It's not as good as the new Lars. Look, it's not as good as the new Lars. That episode was perfect, but it's pretty close. Like, this episode.
What is wrong with you?
Justin, you're literally me right now. You've learned well.
And you're me. What's
You've
wrong
learned
with
well.
you?
You've learned
Yeah,
well.
I'm a little bit
Sal,
confused.
Sal.
I'll explain you why this episode's incredible. I mean, that last scene's so good. That's one of the best scenes of the show. The scene where
No,
they
it's
reunite.
not.
It's so good. Like, I can't. Okay.
But does it compare to an Onion, friend, when Steven finally begins to understand Onion?
Look, this episode also had a great Onion moment. Like, it's got everything. It's got Lars and Sadie, which was the excellent sequel to the new Lars, one of the best episodes of Steven Universe, 100%. It's got Onion, a great Onion. No, that's not top 10. I thought Mr. Frowny was great. I thought the final scene was great. It was very emotionally effective for me. The pacing on this was like these. Here's the thing: these Raven and Paul episodes really appealed to me on like a production standpoint. This episode was perfectly paced. It was impeccably written. Like, yes, it's not trying to do that much, and it's not exciting. Like, I agree that like this episode shouldn't exist. It definitely shouldn't. This is what I said
It
about New
shouldn't,
Lars.
but it's good.
Like, but since it does exist, it's incredible. Like, I really think this episode's excellent. I mean, I'm sure that people won't agree. I'm seeing the opinions go against me already.
You literally just gave the art house argument of it's not exciting, but it's impeccable. And if you don't understand, then you're just not good enough. For me.
No, I'll explain it. I'll explain. Wow, Justin really sassy. Jeez, this is what I let Justin host 2 podcasts, and now the power's gone to his head, and he's
no, you're just wrong objectively.
We'll talk about that. Okay, Justin.
I'm just here.
Yeah, Sam's. I'll get Sam to take my side. That's how this is going. Mr. Frowny's a great character. It was incredible voice work by Brian George, who is Raj's father on Big Bang Theory, and also voiced Guru Patik on Avatar. Interesting. I didn't know that those were the same person. I'd watched both of those shows, but did not know those were the same person. But he's excellent in that role. Justin brings up valid points. I don't care about Mr. Smiley. However, this was clearly his best episode. Then again, I don't remember the safety video episode that well. But this.
Donut. It's big. Donut.
Yeah, I thought he was like a famous singer from that episode or something, but I guess he was like a comedian. Maybe he did everything. I don't remember.
Yeah, he did he was like the training guy video, and he just did everything. He's a jack of all trades, master of none.
He was famous though, right?
Relatively, like local.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
like he could be on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, well that doesn't mean anything, but yeah. So
that's just a testament to his grading of celebrity. Like,
yeah, I guess so. I don't remember that episode, but yeah, no, I just thought the once Mr. Frowny comes in, the episode's impeccable, and even like the montage of everyone using the Steven as Zoltron is really incredible. Great moments for all the characters. Really just front to back. I don't see anything. Like, I can understand why even I, on a different day, would not like this episode, but that day is not today, and this episode's great. So, like I said, top story was Lars and Sadie, of course. I feel like at this point, I'm really attached to them. Like, it wasn't... They were off screen for a long time, But between that season 1 episode, I always forget.
Island Adventure.
Island Adventure, yeah. I've never once remembered that episode title, and I never will. And the new Lars, I genuinely care about the two of them, and I think that they are... Like, I think this episode was a great use of them. It's, like, not obvious that they're actually dating. They're just actually hanging out now. And, like, the important thing is that Lars, like, actually wants to be, like, around Sadie now, right? Like, and Sam, you saw some Netflix and chill happening. Is that correct? That was your interpretation of that scene? It was Netflix and chill?
I mean, that's clearly Lars like, just skip work and let's like go to your place and watch a movie. Like, okay, well, what else does that mean?
So you think Lars, typical teenage boy? So just skip work.
I don't know who the typical teenage boy is, but
I think it's
guess
Lars.
So.
I'd say Lars, but yeah,
I'm a teenage boy.
Yeah, you're in theory you're older than Lars. I thought we need to check the birth certificate on that one. But I also thought Lars and Sadie. I said this part. I thought Lars and Sadie were like 25, like at some point. Like
how old is Lars? Is he still in high school?
16? Question
mark? Got to be
mark?
like 16. Yeah, like they're both got to be around 16 now.
Why do they work every day? I mean, they have school.
Well, cause I guess it was the summer. I don't know.
No, but Steven's wearing a jacket.
Yeah, I don't know how time works on this show. I don't know anything about this. Anyway, that scene was the best.
Delmarva has no public education.
Evidently, because Petey is still in school.
Yeah,
so,
Petey
like,
also have we seen a school?
No, he's
like,
not.
Oh, we talked
Connie
about this.
goes to a private institute because there was no public education in alternate Earth.
I don't.
Boom.
We talked about this before, but I don't think there's a school in Beach City, so I think they probably
so all the children are just truants, and
they probably go to like Connie's town or something for school. But
then why do we never see them not there? Why would everyone go that far and we wouldn't see a school bus? There is no public education. Only the elites get educated.
Look.
Theories, buy it now.
Justin, this is not Hunger Games. Stop. It's so previewing our discussion in 15 minutes. 2 weeks from now, Last One Out of Beach City will air. So we will potentially make this question completely moot. Yeah, this might not matter soon. Beach City might be gone. So that's why we need
off that. We are 2 weeks away. No, next week. Yeah, no, sorry, 2 weeks. You're right. It's Last One Out of Beach City. Yeah, there's the point. This episode, if it aired after Kiki's Pizza Delivery Service, I wouldn't have cared. Fine. Put it there. I don't care. You're putting this after one of the top episodes of the show ever, and right before Gem Harvest.
See, I haven't been plugged into the Gem Harvest. Oh man, like that's an elite episode that hasn't aired yet. Come on.
But we don't. Come on with that. That's the thing. We know that's going to be a heavier episode. That's not going to be a 40 episode. We know nothing about that episode.
Stop.
It's not going to be a 40 episode.
Come on, stop.
You really think it's going to be a 40 episode?
Stop, Justin. Come on.
No, I'm serious. This is not the right time to do a 40 episode.
Look, you're completely me right now, and it's very weird. But
and you're me, and I don't like that either.
I was not plugged into the discourse on last week. I wasn't on either of the podcasts last week.
Me neither.
I don't know if I would call. I don't think I would call Mindful Education one of the best episodes of the show.
I'm sorry.
Same,
what?
Dylan.
It's certainly unique and very good and very affecting. But I need to probably watch it 10 more times to.
It's top 5.
Top 5? I mean, I don't think that's like a wrong opinion. I just wouldn't call it that personally.
It was aight.
What is happening?
Like that episode's so weird. Much like
not.
Buddy's book and Know Your Fusion. Well, basically, like there's 2 minutes where it's completely abstract. So that's what.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like
it's
I was in the headspace to relate.
I think
that is weird in the way that Steven Universe is weird. It is your average level. Level is weird in that it is what Steven does. It is not weird in context of the show. It's not. It's not tonally.
It's not. I agree. It's tonally. It makes sense, but it is a little slightly different tonally. But I think that and the 2 episodes before are the 3 weirdest episodes of the show. So I think it fit right into that arc.
Hold on, you're missing Kindergarten Kid in there.
4 episodes. Yep, 4 in a row. And this episode, I don't think is as weird as the other ones. I think this is more of a normal Bordy episode.
But it's not a good Bordy episode.
Let's talk about the best single episode character in the show's history, Mr. Frowny.
I counter with Jenny. No, not Jenny.
Jane.
Jane.
Yeah. No, that's a good counter. That was the only one I would have considered. So Jane's really good too. But she was in that one episode in season 1, so she doesn't count, I guess. So let's go with that argument. But Justin, your disdain is only making my love of it stronger. So
welcome to my world and my theories and my lions and my centipedal and my bismuth.
Yeah, so Mr. Frowny, better than Centipedal in one episode. That's just for Justin. But Sam, what's your... What was your view of Mr. Frowny? I mean, it's kind of a simplistic view of, like, a sad guy.
Yeah.
Did you take any, like, meaning through his connection to Mr. Smiley? I feel like just having, like, a straight depressed guy was, even if it was played for comedy and stuff, on Steven Universe was pretty thematically interesting for the show.
That was thematic, because nobody's ever sad.
Yeah, Steven's so happy, and like contrasting that, especially in this point in Steven's arc, like just said, where, or I don't know, one of you said where Steven is going through this stuff. I don't know. Did you connect to Mr. Frowny? Do you think he's a good character?
I did connect to him. I mean, character-wise, who knows? Because I don't know, like seemingly his only character trait is just being sad about everything, which I can relate. I don't know. It was just I guess interesting and not so much fun, but I guess nice to see a differing opinion and another instance
on the world, yeah,
on the world, and like an instance again where Steven can't fix everything.
Yeah.
On a more like smaller scale, of course, but then human relationships smaller scale, but human relationships while you're in them are like big to the person. But on a smaller, not as cosmic scale, it's good to see that, Steven's charms won't work on everybody. And, just sort of...
I agree with that. Like, it's not Steven that ends up helping. It's Mr. Smiley who takes action here. Like, yeah. Steven tries to encourage him, but he really doesn't do anything.
But the thing I found interesting was Steven saying to Mr. Smiley, did he ever know that Mr. Frowny ever know that that he was making you, Mr. Smiley, sad? Yeah. And the follow-up to that wasn't really that. It was just them rehashing their comedy routine, and then Mr. Frowny still leaving on the bus and nothing.
Well, I think the subtext was there in that scene for the conclusion to that. But you're right. I actually really appreciated that it wasn't explicit, like the thematics with the ending. That was a really interesting line. Like, and sometimes Steven says things that are way too profound to make any sense in the context. This is normal for Steven, but not for anyone else. But yeah, did you ever know that he was making you sad? And I think that through them rehashing the routine, I think that and then him showing up and him basically saying I care, even though they don't explicitly talk about it, I think that he was saying that in the final scene. I think so. Basically, there's two Mr. Frowny scenes. There's the one where he puts all the quarters in, and we have the same thing with him every time. And he's like ominous at first, and it's kind of played for laughs with the, but not really. I feel like it struck the right tone of like respecting his feelings while not like making light of them, but it's still like funny, like in context of what's happening. I think that's kind of a hard thing to do sometimes for shows. But I felt like that scene was really good. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't like particularly interesting or like funny. It was just tonally super. It worked for me. And then we have the final scene with the two of them, which I think just really came together well. I think that again, nothing was super explicit, but them talking and then doing the comedy routine, and Steven and like us like seeing what the thing was, and just it not being, I don't know, it not going anywhere kind of I think also worked. Like, I think it would have been weird to see some like over the top ending, and just this is the most opposite version of that, and everything between that final scene with the way that they integrate visually when they put them back on the stage as they're doing it, and having and the other big thing is the music during that scene. I think was pretty prominent and in a really great way to make it emotionally effective. Really, just everything with Mr. Frowny just really good. Like, I think that character really worked. I mean, there's the next discussion to have, which is why wasn't explicitly gay. But Justin, any responses to that?
It's not that the episode itself did anything explicitly wrong. I liked the pacing. I liked the visual effects. I liked the character of Mr. Frowny. I really liked Garnet coming in and seeing kind of future vision and like this slot roulette kind of idea. Yeah. I liked a lot of things about the episode. I think the one reason I can't get behind it, I genuinely don't like Mr. Smiley. I like watching him, but he's kind of a jerk to Steven. Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is a person who Steven broke the machine. Ooh. But still, this is a person who puts financial gain above all else. We've seen it over and over again. We've never had a reason to sympathize with him.
You didn't find Mr. Krabs sympathetic?
No, I've never cared once about Mr. Krabs in my life.
Are you feeling it now? You're not feeling it? Wow. Jeez.
I'm going to put it simply, Dylan.
You're not feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
I would rather the season 2 premiere of Ladybugs open up with a Chloe Marinette kiss than ever see another Mr. Smiley backstory again.
Our audience crossover is not very high. Nobody's going to understand.
The point remains, you know how much that means I detest this. I don't like the character, and they didn't do anything in this episode to make him remotely sympathetic, and then all of a sudden they expected us to care. So it's like every other character that gets a backstory, we see some kind of moment between them and Steven of like a connection. Something. Mr. Smiley was exploiting Steven for profit. I don't care if he gets a happy ending. I don't care if he gets hit by the bus. I don't care.
Okay, I agree that there's no reason for us to find him sympathetic. In fact, in this episode, it makes it explicit that he's, it's like, I haven't used this in years. And then it's like, oh, it's $1,000, you know, like, but it's, I didn't hate him for that. I mean, he was played for laughs. My counterpoint is that we're not supposed, it's not important that we care about Mr. Smiley in this episode. I think that the emotional weight of the episode is focused upon caring about Mr. Frowny, who we only see for 5 minutes. I don't think it even matters what we think that what happens with Mr. Frowny, or Mr. Smiley, just that Mr. Smiley is like trying to do some sort of good. Really though, it's just that Mr. Frowny is kind of into that last scene and is happy at he smiles. Yeah, I just don't really think it matters any sort of sympathy.
I think it does,
Mr. Smiley.
I think it really, really does, because I think had they done something to make us, care about Mr. Smiley, I think I would have cared more about the duo as a whole. I think they didn't give us a reason to care about them, being back in the act together. Any ending with Mr. Frowny smiling would have been just as interesting to you, I think. I think you just wanted to see this new one-time character get some kind of resolution very quickly, which we did get. I think you could have done it a lot better, and I think it left a lot to be desired, and I think it was honestly kind of half-hearted.
So Justin confirmed not feeling it now.
I'm not feeling it
Justin
now.
confirmed, not feeling it now. No, I think that the final scene was excellent. I think it's the best scene of the episode, one of the best scenes in the season, or the past year or so. I think that it was excellently executed.
No. There were so many better scenes. I can't even count them all. Would you like just a handful?
I mean, I'll agree with you. They're good scenes. We just disagree on this. So let me make my
most
point
of Bubble. All of Bubble.
This episode is better than Bubble.
No,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, this episode's better than Bubbled. I don't know if it's particularly close. I felt so much more from this episode. It's yeah. So anyway, to conclude my point, which I've made already, the last scene is impeccably executed. It's subtle. It's the music's incredible. The visuals are incredible. The last thing I want to talk about with that is were they intending this to be romantic, their connection? And if so, why wasn't it explicit? And I'm not sure of the answer to either of those questions. I don't think I think the answer is it didn't matter. The important thing was their connection, not necessarily whether it was romantic. But at the same time, you'd expect this show to go that route, which I think is interesting.
Here's the thing. This show loves to play the slow burn when it comes to any kind of romance. I mean, we didn't get I know we all read into it, but we didn't get any kind of real concrete, explicit romantic statement from Pearl about Rose until Mr. Greg. You could say Rose is scabbard, but no, the first explicit thing we got was Mr. Greg. They're not going to just now introduce this and drop that bomb of what would have been the first supporting gay male in animation for a children's show. They're not going to do that. They're going to play the slow burn again.
Well, I don't know if either of these characters is supporting. I think
I'd say Mr. Smiley. Okay, recurring.
Tertiary. Way worse than tertiary. Mr. Smiley's been on 3 episodes, but
he's been in more than that. The point remains, it
would still
be bigger than what happened in Loud House. This show always plays a slow burn. They never do big bomb drops when it comes to romance. No, other stuff, yes. Name me one time they did a big
No. You're right.
Sudden
you're right
romantic
that they don't play things explicit like that. But I don't. At least this is only my interpretation, and the context is I'm also looking for the gay. Is that constantly? Is that this was not this was the subtext was not clearly romantic. I think that that's an interpretation of this, and I think it's valid, and I think I'll present that interpretation. But like Rosa Scabbard, there's no other interpretation but the subtext.
Yes, there is.
I would highly disagree with that. Like, I think that
a lot of people saw that.
I think that's these. I mean, people weren't necessarily correct. Like, I think Rosa's like that's the subtext.
Well, you can't say that their interpretation is wrong. You can't say that someone's interpreting something wrong.
No, I agree, but I can like it's there's differing levels of this, right?
Well,
there's like
think back to the core finale.
This isn't an
right? There were going to be
argument
people saying until the confirmation that it
right.
wasn't.
So that's also clearly romantic, and that's not subtext even. That's just what's happening on the screen. And I think this is a similar thing with Rosa Scabbard. I mean, this isn't really an argument you want to be making, Justin. Like,
but anyway, I would say
this is
Let's do it.
No, this is you're not helping your listener sympathy stock has been dropping this episode. I really think we've been trading on the stock here. Stock watch, Justin, up or down? Let's do that. But
I don't know how to play the stock market. I'm sorry.
Sam, do you agree with me that the subtext in this is not clearly romantic, but it is an interpretation for this episode?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I interpreted it as romantic. That's just like how I just sort of like pick up on the context. But I can see people like Justin was saying, like, you know, thinking maybe it was like Greg's father or something. So I can see how, you know, people can interpret it differently. So it's not like the like solid like end all be all. This is what's happening, but you know, it's there. It's pretty strongly
yeah I think it's there. I also think that it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, it like obviously it matters from, you know, the perspective that Steven Universe is an important show, but in this episode's context, the fact is that they're people who cared about each other, you know, and it nothing super. Everything that happens in the final half of the episode is not detailed. So it would have been a little out of place, I actually think, if they like kissed at the end. Like, I think that defining anything beyond this kind of vague generalities was kind of in theme with the episode, was keeping everything very general. And I'm not arguing against the interpretation. I think I also have the interpretation, but I guess I'm defending them not making it explicit, I guess. Anonymous says, what I basically got from this episode is that Mr. Franny and Mr. Smiley is gay for each other, and Garnet literally walks around until people need her. I
was kind of bothered by Garnet just randomly showing up.
Other than that pretty blah episode, he says. So
thank you, Anonymous.
Says Anonymous. Justin, what do you think of Garnet just walking around until Steven needs her?
I think that she knew that it was going to happen. So I picture Garnet's day going like this. She wakes up, she has her glass of orange juice. She uses her future vision. She's like, all right, I have a Steven appointment at 1:20. Until then, I'm just going to hang around, watch some Crime Breakfast Friends. And then she gets up, gets ready for her day, and heads out, finds Steven, gives him future vision, heads back home, reads some magazines, does some training. Good day. Yeah,
that's a good point that she knew because of her future vision. I think the Garnet scene was funny. It was mostly just light and just there to be. It was very well executed, considering how ridiculous it was. But I think that visually, the use of Steven's future vision was incredibly executed. Again, Raven and Paul just execute this like perfectly, just showing like the things happening on the screen, like one, then another, then the X. Like it's really interestingly done. It really worked. Just everything. Production-wise, impeccable about this episode. I guess slight caveat, not slight. So skip ahead. I'm about to very minor, very, very quick rant about character models. Skip ahead 30 seconds. This annoys people. So normally I hate complaining about character models. It's always the Raven and Paul episodes where people complain. But seeing Steven so off model in this episode was a little bit jarring for me. I'm not going to tell the show whether they should or should not try to be more on model, but there's a few shots of Steven where it's just so completely different that it was noticeable. So I think when it's noticeable, it's not necessarily a great thing. So there's my piece on that.
I didn't even notice.
I was fine with it because with all of the all this stuff happening with Steven, like as Zoltron, I was fine with it. You know,
His face was very small and only a few shots towards the middle.
Well, yeah, it was, but I think with all the makeup and stuff, I think you can get away with that.
Yeah, this was pre Zoltron makeup. Yeah, no, him as Zoltron was interesting. I'm talking like the shots, like if you want to reference this, the 2 minutes I would say before he gets into Zoltron, which is mostly just the beginning of the episode. Anyway,
that's what you complained about in this episode.
That's my only complaint about this episode.
Why?
Quickly going through the outline, things we missed, and your dad won't even let you alphabetize the condiments. That's rough, says Steven to PD. Come on, Justin, this episode is a great PD episode.
PD didn't even get to speak. He didn't even get to speak. If they let PD speak, I would like this episode.
That doesn't matter.
Because PD's deadpan is one of my favorite things about this show.
Yeah, that's true. Whoa, what about the show? Okay. You're right.
I love it. It's like top 10 thing to me. It's PD's
but we
deadpan.
See this great line, Steven to PD, and then we see PD being super cute when Steven's reading the fortune, the reaction to Dad loves you. So that is a good PD episode.
Dylan, I can't tell half the time if you're joking or not.
I have no clue what's happening tonight. I don't know.
The line has been blurred for sure. Come on. No, I genuinely enjoy. No, like I said, your hatred has fueled my love. Like I was coming on, I was gonna say like it's good. You know, it was a good episode. It's one of my better Bordy episodes. And then you're like so vehemently anti it. Then I'm like, this is the best episode of the show. So
did Everett put you up to this?
Did who?
Exactly.
Who? Everett? I don't know.
Are my friends paying you off to hate me?
You can't reference your friends. Like no one understands.
We don't know your friends.
Come on, Justin, you gotta make references that at least 50% of the listeners will understand. So that's you need. Like Ladybug, for this, people aren't even gonna understand that because we have different audiences. But anyway, yeah, no, I did genuinely enjoy this. Like I've seen it twice now, and it's great both times. So, not okay. Justin. Okay, I think the stock is dropping. People are gonna agree with you.
I'm allowed to have one episode, or I have the negative.
No, I think people are going to agree. People are going to agree with your opinion, but you've said some controversial statements here, so I don't know about that.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing.
What did I say that was that bad? Okay,
I'm not laughing at anything that's happening.
Sam's laughing at Steven wanting to save up for a fancy kazoo.
No, I'm not laughing at that. But
I like I like the W thing and the numbers. If every time the quarter, all this stuff. We talked in depth about the Lars Sadie scene. It was great. Oh yeah, Steven reading their fortunes. Even though Lars won't admit it, he really likes to do a good job. And then Sadie, even though she likes to take charge, she'll still be impressed with you. The reactions that were so good. I just really love that. The onion scene, I see prison bars in your future, and then he comes back with the ski mask. Where would you rank this in our little onion moment rankings? I think there are 4 other ones from Summer of Steven.
It's below the fork, but it's above. I think it's the second best. I think I put it right below the fork, above the thumbs up, above the guacola, and then I put the cotton candy one at the lowest.
I don't remember how I ranked them, so we'll trust that rankings.
I really love the line.
I think Onion quickly went from clearly the worst character on the show and used terribly to really used really well this past season. Like these minor Onion gags are totally the way to go with him.
Like I was already laughing at just the crowbar thing, and then he came out with the ski mask, and I that's the only time I laughed out loud the entire episode. I thought that was one of the best lines. Not even a line, just great moments.
Yeah, it was definitely really good. I just really commend the Crewniverse on the Onion usage. It's the most improved, the MVP, not the MVP, like the most improved award of the show is Onion. Oh, by the way, there's a solid 10 random Beach City residents clearly in the background during the Steven fortune telling parts. I want to know who they are.
Showed up.
Probably Suitcase Sam was there. I think Jamie was there in the background.
No. Suitcase Sam was the one where Steven said, Zoltron says you should ask your doctor.
Oh, that was Suitcase Sam? Oh, Sam, It's you. That was you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was you.
That's something Dylan would say to me if I'm talking to him about something. He's like, Sam, you should probably ask your doctor this.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it like sarcastic like Steven did.
Yeah, you would.
I guess I would. I guess that it depends how you read the text. But yeah, it's
Can I come to you with my doctor problems, Dylan?
No, definitely not. Ask your doctor about that. But I need to know who every person who lives in Beach City is, and I need to have that chronicled on a list because when they
Why are you me?
When everyone dies in 2 weeks, we need to know who to memorialize. Okay,
it's probably all of the Steven Universe wiki, so we're probably fine.
No, I don't think they have names. I think it's probably like the crew, and they like as background.
The background fish and SpongeBob have names. I'm sure these people do.
I know I made a SpongeBob reference, but I still got annoyed at that. So,
why do you hate me tonight?
Mine was better. My SpongeBob reference. Let's just.
I feel hated.
The great. You're spreading the hate, Justin. That if you
I'm
spread
not.
Hate, then you get hate in return. That's
this is why I can't be cynical, because I'm the only non-cynical one, and when I become cynical, we're all cynical, and I just feel awful.
That's my wisdom for this episode. Steven's other predictions: the twins, they both deserve their own rooms, and then I don't remember Kofi shaking his head. That was really good. I really like that. You can make anything you look cool. He says to Buck Dewey. That was really good too. And then your father really loves you. I love that. I love this montage. It was really good.
It was.
Yeah.
I will admit, I did like this aspect, right? This part of Steven has spent the last few weeks basically being not told, but shown over and over again, you can't fix this, you can't fix this, you can't fix this. And then for a brief shining moment, he gets to make people happy and people he cares about too. So, maybe I was a bit harsh. Maybe not bottom 5. Maybe like bottom 20%, let's say. Maybe bottom 30%. Because this scene... Steven needed this little confidence boost. He really did.
Top 5 of the show. No, JK. But top 15%. Okay. So I think we used the Garnet feature vision. I need to use it to help some random stranger. That's an appropriate use of my powers, says Garnet. Garnet, you can never tell if she's being sarcastic. Like more than any other character.
Master of the fourth wall.
Yeah. It's good. Be home in time for dinner, says Garnet. I thought that was a notable line. Do they always who makes Steven dinner? Do they eat dinner as a family? These are questions that I feel like
they eat breakfast together.
Yeah, I guess so. These are questions that I feel like were addressed in season 1 and I forgot, but I thought it was notable here. So, they talked about. I think we talked about everything else here. Harold and Quentin are their names. So there you go. I don't know if we knew that about Mr. Smiley, but. We probably did.
Okay.
We knew his name was Harold Smiley. We didn't know Quentin Frowny. Is his last name actually Smiley, or is that a stage name?
I don't know.
Because what are the odds? Actually, in this show, the odds are very high.
Yep, there you go. And that's it. That's all I got on this one. So, overall, I thought it was great. I'll take... Give me 2 episodes, Justin. I'll tell you whether I'll take this or not over it. Give me this episode and another episode, and I'll tell you which one I think is better.
Okay, Rosa Scabbard.
Okay, Rosa Scabbard. I'll take Rosa Scabbard over this one.
Yes.
That's it? That's all you got? Come on, this is rapid fire.
Fine. You want another one? Let's do it. New Lars.
New Lars over this one. I said that one already. Come on.
Sworn to the Sword.
Come on, you're naming the best episodes of the show.
I know, because I want to prove a point
Sworn
here.
to the Sword over this one. Come on, give me closer ones.
Okay, fine. Monster Reunion.
This over Monster Reunion.
And that's where we're done.
Just to annoy you. Okay, there you go.
I'm legitimately gonna cry.
Oh, this is not something to cry over this episode.
But Monster Reunion is.
Did you learn that that one is correct. Okay, Sam. Final comments on Future Boy Zoltron.
It was all right. I guess I don't know.
Take a side. It's the end of the podcast.
Oh my God.
Who's convinced you better? Who's convinced you better? That's who wins the podcast. Me or Justin? You have to take a side.
I'm not taking a side.
Okay, well, we'll give her some.
You're just going to have to get your listeners to take sides. I'm not taking a side.
Well, I'll tell you at the end how you can weigh in on this, listeners. So, Justin, final thoughts. No, you don't get final thoughts.
I don't like being grumpy. It makes me sad.
You're too grumpy, yeah. And I've already expressed. Okay, coming up next week is Gem Harvest. Justin has pronounced this the most plot-heavy episode of the show in its history. So
that's not what I said.
And then the week after, two episodes as scheduled right now. Cartoon Network.
Tiger Philanthropist.
And normally that would be a big headline because that's a good second, presumably a sequel of some sort. But Last One Out of Beach City, also airing on the 15th. I've staked my claim. Beach City is blowing up. I think it's happening. So you got to get your Mr. Smiley episodes in now because he ain't making it out alive, nor is Onion, nor is
but Mr. Frowny is.
Mr. Frowny's gone, so he's okay. Most importantly, yeah.
This won't make him any happier.
I guess not.
His love is dead.
His love is dead. Yeah. Rip everyone in Beach City coming up soon.
Rip Sadie.
No, Sadie. No, okay. Sadie needs to come with. Everyone's gonna.
Sadie will die in a fiery explosion, and I will drink your tears.
Who are you? Jeez. 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 Okay. Coming up on the Overly Animated podcast on Thursday, like I said earlier, or today's Thursday. On this weekend, Delaney and Michelle will discuss how much they love Future Boy Zoltron and how Justin was so wrong about that episode. Get your feedback in. Delaney at overlyanimated.com. Send her Tumblr, ask her post on this overlyanimated.com this article, and she will see them and talk about them with Michelle, who is now the officially more enthusiastic one of the Michelle Justin duo. So it is confirmed canon. Coming up on
I'm gonna take that title back.
Well, I mean, not today or not.
Tonight tonight recording wise I am. This weekend tune in.
Because we're also recording the Ladybug one. We'll see if Justin keeps his sourness for this weekend's Ladybug podcast. We talk about our top 10 characters. Going to be interesting. Also tonight is our Patreon exclusive live video podcast. If you are a patron, which applies to like 1% of the people listening. No, that's too. We don't have that many listeners, but this is a good incentive to become a patron. You can listen to our live or watch our live patron video podcast every month. Check that at Overly Animated or patreon.com/overlyanimated. And thank you very much to our patrons: Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Zavon, Jade, John Phonician, and new patron Victoria, aka Fever Mitch, Corner, Steve, Beach Exchange, Nathan Fillion, Buzz Liker, Mammon, Rich Rose, Johnny Robert, Brian, Cookcat, Needle, Diamond Day, Joel Garfield, and TBD. Hopefully we'll figure those nicknames out on the podcast.
I don't think we can keep doing nicknames if that list goes any longer.
Yeah, it's getting long. It's good job, guys. Thank you for and please consider giving us an iTunes review. I really appreciate iTunes reviews. I'd prefer you give them on our main Overly Animated iTunes feed. This week's iTunes review of the week is did Delaney do this last week, by the way? I assume she
Yes, we did.
Cool. Good job. The iTunes review of the week is by Gabler12. Best podcast ever. 5 stars. You guys work very hard to make this podcast great, and it works. I love the in-depth analysis of all the great TV series. I'm also a huge fan of the relationship between you hosts. I wonder if you liked me and Justin fighting tonight. That's my aside. Continuing the review. So the environment is comfortable. Oh, well, it was heated tonight. That's my aside, so I don't know about that. Oh man, it keeps going. Your fun vibe and humor add overall appeal to your podcast. Justin, you're ruining our fun vibe.
I feel like an awful person right now.
You're ruining it. Jeez. Some of the shows you covered that I like to listen to are Star, Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, From the Spirit World. That's not a show, it's a podcast. And most of all, Steven Universe. You guys are the number one podcast I listen to.
We never cover Adventure Time. We did for a week. And then sometimes if a notable episode comes out, I read an article about it.
Basically, if there's some bubbling happening, we have
that's the only time. I do really like Adventure Time still, though, but I still watch it, so we might cover it again at some point. You guys are like the number one podcast to listen to, so please keep up the good work. Sorry if this comment is too long. I just think you guys are great. Thank you very much, Gabler. And if you want your review read on the next podcast, leave it within before next Thursday. I'll review them at the end of the Steven Universe episode discussions. Thank you guys very much for giving us positive reviews. Unlike From the Spirit World, our review average is very high, so that's good.
I love those ones. I like the ones that are like, Sam is a waste of a co-host space.
Don't encourage people to leave negative reviews though, because you can try to include inside jokes. We could do that. I don't know what you would include, but so the hashtags for this podcast. There's 2 hashtags. Hashtag Team Dylan or Team Justin, depending on who you think was right about the episode, and also hashtag Justin stock up or hashtag Justin stock down.
I have been called a young adult protagonist enough for 1 week. Can we not make me a team?
I feel like you should be more concerned about the stock up or stock down. I feel like that's more personal.
I would like to issue a formal apology for my saltiness tonight. This is not me, typically.
I feel like if this were Twilight, it would be Dylan would be Team Edward, and then Justin would be Team Jacob.
No, I was Team Jacob, man. Come on.
No, I'm totally Team Jacob. I mean, like, I'm cute and happy.
You can't call yourself cute. Come on.
I shouldn't take my shirt off like Jacob, but I am adorable. So
now we're turning into the Twilight podcast. That's what
I'm reading literally a Twilight inspired fanfic right now, so that's where my life is.
Why are you reading that?
It's Life is Strange.
Oh, Life is Strange crossover Twilight fanfic?
It's not it's like, inspired by.
If Jacob turned into a golden retriever, I would be Jacob.
Yeah, I agree with the golden retriever part. Anyway, you don't need to apologize for being upset. You can be this tone.
No, I genuinely I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not usually this salty. I'll be back to my normal self by next week.
You're just trying to influence the hashtag stock
no,
up.
I'm not. I'm really
you,
not.
I just let us know
I
hashtag
know
Justin stock up or hashtag Justin stock down. That's your opinion of Justin's podcast persona. Is it up or down? And
it's just like your opinion, man.
If enough of you guys say down, he's gonna come on way too plucky next time. So you got.
No, I'm just gonna be sad.
Oh yeah, he'll be. But then you'll try to course correct. So I don't know about that. Anyway, I think that's good. Let us know what you thought about this episode too. I'm interested to see other opinions. Am I the only one in the world that liked this episode? Probably not.
I mean, it was all right.
By the way, I think Raven and Paul are maybe my favorite storyboard duo at this point. Like, just every episode is. I mean, not every episode's a hit, but every episode's notable. I feel like for me, like constructed wise. Also, they did Earthlings, so come on. What else can we do? So we'll be back next week to cover Gem Harvest and check out the Feedback podcast coming up. And that's it. I think overlyanimated.com. That's everything else. Anything else you guys got?
We're coming up on. We're gonna do a Total Drama podcast soon, guys. The time is nigh. We're just a couple weeks away from that, so
that's too early to
keep
play.
Reading those reviews because keep reading the weekly review to get ready for the podcast.
Yeah, that you can plug, sure. Yeah.
So read that. 2 weeks left of season 1. Then we're gonna dive right into season 2, and after we finish season 1, gonna do a podcast. So get caught up. Keep reading. See you soon.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, Dylan, do you want to plug that one thing?
What one thing?
That thing that you spent all summer doing.
Oh, well, I mean, we're not going to plug it too much. Anyway, junctionseries.tumblr.com. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We will see you. It's unrelated. It's unrelated. Well, we're not
mysterious.
We're not going to. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.